In Denmark, people climb on chairs and jump off of them at exactly midnight on New Year's Eve, all together, simultaneously. Entire families, friends at parties, strangers at bars, everyone jumps. And this isn't some modern TikTok trend. This tradition has existed for generations. And if you ask a Danish person why they do it, they'll tell you it's to leap into the new year and banish bad spirits. In Spain, people are frantically eating grapes, 12 of them specifically, one for every stroke of midnight. If you don't finish all 12 before the clock stops chiming, the superstition says your year is cursed. And in the Philippines, everything has to be round. Round food, round clothes, round decorations, circles everywhere. Because circles represent coins, and coins represent prosperity. And on New Year's Eve, you're literally trying to shape your fortune through geometry. These aren't quirky modern inventions. These are deeply rooted cultural traditions that millions of people practice every single year. And when you start examining why people do these things, you realize that New Year's traditions reveal something profound about how different cultures think about time, fate, and what it means to begin again. Let's start with those grapes in Spain, because the tradition is way more intense than it sounds. The custom is called Las 12 Uvas de la Suerte, the 12 grapes of luck. At midnight on December 31st, broadcasters across Spain show the clock at Puerta del Sol in Madrid. As the bell begins to strike 12 times, you must eat one grape per chime. Not before the chime, not after. Synchronized exactly with the sound. 12 grapes in 12 seconds. That's less than 1 second per grape. And these aren't necessarily small grapes. If you get unlucky with large ones or ones with seeds, you're in trouble. Choking hazards spike on New Year's Eve in Spain. Emergency rooms see a predictable increase in grape-related incidents every single year. And yet, millions of Spaniards wouldn't dream of skipping it, because each grape represents 1 month of the coming year, and failing to eat all 12 supposedly means those months will be unlucky. The tradition creates this bizarre collective panic where everyone is simultaneously trying to celebrate and desperately chew. The origin story makes it even better. This wasn't some ancient tradition passed down through centuries. It started in 1909. Wine growers in Alicante region had a massive surplus of grapes that year and needed to sell them. So they marketed the idea of eating 12 grapes at midnight as an aristocratic tradition, which it wasn't, and it caught on so successfully that it became genuinely embedded in Spanish culture within a generation. This is our first major insight. Many traditions we assume are ancient are shockingly recent, often invented for commercial reasons and then given cultural weight retroactively. The grapes weren't sacred until people decided they were, but now they're non-negotiable for millions of families. Japan's New Year, Oshogatsu, operates on an entirely different philosophy. While Western New Year celebrations are often about excitement, noise, and staying up late, Japanese tradition emphasizes purification, reflection, and starting fresh. Buddhist temples across Japan ring their bells 108 times starting just before midnight. This practice, called Joya no Kane, has deep spiritual significance. The 108 rings represent the 108 earthly desires or worldly passions that cause human suffering, according to Buddhist teaching. Each ring purifies one desire, cleansing you spiritually so you can enter the new year unburdened. Some temples allow visitors to ring the bell themselves. Lines form hours in advance. There's something mesmerizing about watching people wait in the cold for their turn to strike a massive bronze bell once, sending that deep, resonant tone across the winter air, participating in a ritual that connects them to centuries of practice. Then there's toshikoshi soba, year-crossing noodles. Japanese families eat buckwheat noodles on New Year's Eve, and the symbolism is multi-layered. The long noodles represent longevity and crossing from one year to the next. But buckwheat plants are resilient. They bounce back even after being trampled. So the noodles symbolize resilience and strength. Additionally, buckwheat dough is easier to cut than wheat dough, symbolizing cutting away the previous year's hardships. What strikes me about Japanese New Year traditions is the intentionality. Nothing is arbitrary. Every food, every action, every ritual component has been assigned meaning. Eating mochi, rice cakes, brings good fortune because mochi expands when cooked, representing growth. Displaying kadamato, pine decorations, welcome ancestral spirits. Even the first shrine visit of the year, Hatsumode, is structured around specific prayers and practices. This isn't just celebration, this is ceremony, and the difference matters. Western New Year's is often about excitement and chaos, fireworks, parties, champagne. Japanese New Year's is about creating a threshold, marking a genuine transition and doing so with respect for both what came before and what lies ahead. Scotland takes New Year's so seriously that they have a specific word for it, Hogmanay, and the celebrations last for days. The most important Hogmanay tradition is first footing. The first foot is the first person to cross your threshold after midnight. Who this person is determines your luck for the entire year. Ideally, your first footer should be a tall, dark-haired man. This supposedly comes from Viking invasion days. A tall, blonde stranger at your door was probably a Viking, which was bad news. He should bring symbolic gifts: coal for warmth, shortbread for food, salt for flavor, a drink for good cheer, and money for prosperity. First footing is taken so seriously that people plan logistics. Families coordinate who will visit whom at what time. Dark-haired friends get strategically deployed to multiple households. There are actual first footing schedules. The tradition has created a cottage industry of professional first footers in some Scottish towns, people you can hire to show up at your door right after midnight with the proper gifts and characteristics. Then there's the fire. In towns like Stonehaven, people create massive fireballs, wire cages filled with combustible material, attach them to ropes, and swing them around their heads while marching through the streets at midnight. It's spectacular, dangerous, and rooted in ancient pagan traditions of warding off evil spirits with fire. The fire festivals predate Christianity in Scotland, surviving because they were too embedded in culture to eliminate. What's happening here is a blend of Viking influence, Celtic tradition, and Christian overlay all mashed together into something uniquely Scottish. The traditions contradict each other in origin, but coexist in practice, which tells you something important about how culture actually works. It's not pure, it's accumulated. In Colombia and several other Latin American countries, if you want to travel more in the coming year, you run around the block at midnight carrying an empty suitcase. I need you to picture this. Entire neighborhoods full of people, suitcases in hand, sprinting around the block as fireworks explode overhead. Some people take it seriously, doing a full lap. Others just run to the corner and back. The belief is that this act will manifest travel opportunities in the coming year, sympathetic magic through literal action. But Colombia's tradition is almost tame compared to Ecuador's Año Viejo, the burning of the old year. In Ecuador, people create life-size effigies called Años Viejos, representing the old year. These aren't simple scarecrows. They're elaborate, often satirical representations of politicians, celebrities, or cultural figures who define the past year. Artists spend weeks creating them. Some are hilarious, some are political statements, some are genuinely impressive works of art. Then, at midnight, they burn them all. Entire neighborhoods fill with smoke as hundreds of effigies go up in flames simultaneously. The symbolism is direct. You're literally destroying the old year, purging it through fire. Whatever hardships, disappointments, or frustrations define the past 12 months, you're watching them burn, and you're doing it communally. There's something primal and cathartic about this that the more restrained traditions lack. You're not eating grapes or jumping off chairs, you're setting things on fire. You're making your desire for renewal visible, tangible, destructive. It's not subtle, and it's not meant to be. The tradition has pre-Columbian roots, but merged with Spanish colonial practices and evolved into its current form. The effigies used to be generic old year figures, but over time they became increasingly specific and satirical, transforming the tradition into a form of social commentary where people can publicly mock and symbolically destroy the powerful figures who shaped their year. The Philippines might have the most visually distinctive New Year's tradition. Everything must be round. The feast served at midnight, called Medianoche, features round fruits, 12 of them specifically, representing the 12 months. Oranges, grapes, watermelons cut into circles. Tables are set with round plates. People wear clothing with polka dots or circular patterns. Some families display coins prominently. Children jump at midnight while holding coins trying to grow taller. The underlying belief is that circles represent coins represent wealth, and surrounding yourself with circular objects will attract prosperity. It's sympathetic magic. The idea that similar things influence each other, that you can manifest wealth by surrounding yourself with its symbolic shape. But there's also something deeper happening. Filipino New Year's traditions blend indigenous animistic beliefs, Spanish Catholic influence, and Chinese cultural practices. The Philippines has a significant Chinese-Filipino population, and many New Year's traditions show that influence. The result is this unique hybrid, where you have Catholic families attending midnight mass and then coming home to jump while holding coins and eat exactly 12 round fruits. The noise is another crucial element. Filipinos believe that loud noise drives away evil spirits and bad luck. So midnight in the Philippines is absolute chaos. Fireworks, banging pots and pans, car horns, air horns, anything that makes sound. The goal is to be as loud as humanly possible. Some cities have tried to ban fireworks due to injuries, pushing for safer celebrations. But the cultural attachment to noise is so strong that enforcement is nearly impossible. There's also a superstition about what you do at the stroke of midnight determining your year. If you're sleeping, you'll be lazy. If you're crying, you'll be sad. If you're eating, you'll never go hungry. So medianoche isn't just a meal, it's a strategic action. You're literally trying to be caught doing something positive at midnight to set the tone for the entire year ahead. Remember those Danes jumping off chairs? There's more to Denmark's New Year's than that. The jumping tradition, called Spring in i det nye år, springing into the new year, is about leaving behind the old year and entering the new one with both feet. You're physically launching yourself forward in time. But Denmark has another tradition that's even more fascinating: smashing plates at your friends' doors. Throughout the year, Danes save old plates and dishes. Not good ones, chipped ones you don't want anymore. Then, on New Year's Eve, you take your collection and throw them against the front doors of people you care about. A pile of ceramic shards is a sign of affection. This tradition has gotten somewhat controversial in modern times because, well, it creates a mess, and not everyone appreciates having to sweep up broken plates on New Year's Day. Some apartment buildings have banned it, but in rural areas and traditional neighborhoods, it persists. The origin is murky, possibly related to ancient beliefs about noise and breaking things driving away evil spirits, possibly just a practical solution for disposing of broken dishware that eventually gained symbolic meaning. But what's interesting is how it transforms an act of destruction into an expression of love. You're literally breaking things on behalf of people you care about. Denmark also has Dinner for One, which deserves mention because it's one of the strangest traditions I've encountered. Every New Year's Eve, German and Scandinavian television broadcasts a 1963 British comedy sketch called Dinner for One, about an elderly woman whose servant gets progressively drunker while serving her dinner and impersonating her dead friends. It's an 18-minute sketch, in English, that most British people have never heard of, but Germans and Danes watch it religiously every New Year's Eve. It has become so culturally embedded that people quote it year-round. This is tradition formation in action. Something random, a comedy sketch that happened to be broadcast, becomes culturally mandatory through repetition until new generations grow up assuming it's always been there. Here's what strikes me about all these traditions. They're fundamentally attempts to control the uncontrollable. The future is uncertain. We don't know what the next year will bring. We have limited agency over our fates, and that's terrifying. So humans create rituals that give us the illusion of influence. Eat 12 grapes and your months will be lucky. Jump off a chair and bad spirits leave. Surround yourself with circles and wealth will come. Burn an effigy and the old year's pain burns with it. We know rationally that grapes don't control fortune and chairs don't trap spirits, but the rituals serve a psychological function that's genuinely valuable. They mark time, they create community, they give us something to do with our anxiety about the unknown. They transform the passive experience of time passing into active participation. And they work, in a sense, not because eating grapes actually makes your January lucky, but because beginning the year with intention, with ritual, with community, with symbolic action, genuinely changes how we approach those 12 months. The placebo effect is real. Belief influences behavior, and behavior influences outcomes. What's also striking is the diversity. Humanity shares the same event, the transition from one year to the next, but we've created wildly different responses to it. Fire, food, noise, jumping off furniture, breaking things, precise timing, specific colors, lucky objects. Every culture has looked at the same astronomical phenomenon and said, here's what we'll do with this, and no two cultures agree. That diversity is valuable. It reminds us that meaning isn't inherent, it's created. The new year doesn't inherently mean anything, it's just the Earth completing another orbit. We're the ones who decided this moment matters, and then we created elaborate frameworks to give that mattering structure and purpose. So whether you're eating grapes in Madrid, ringing bells in Kyoto, burning effigies in Quito, jumping off furniture in Copenhagen, running with suitcases in Bogota, or surrounding yourself with circles in Manila, you're participating in humanity's ongoing project of making meaning from time. These traditions aren't about literal magic, they're about community, continuity, and the deeply human need to feel like we have some say in what happens next. They're about marking a threshold, acknowledging that something is ending and something is beginning, and doing so together rather than alone. The specific tradition matters less than the act of having one, of doing something intentional at midnight rather than just letting the moment pass, of connecting your personal experience to something larger, family tradition, cultural practice, shared ritual that links you to people you've never met but who are performing the same actions at the same moment. That's the real magic. Not that grapes bring luck, but that millions of people eating grapes together create something real. A shared experience that transcends individual circumstance and reminds us we're part of something bigger. However you ring in the new year, you're participating in one of humanity's oldest and most universal practices, marking time, honoring transitions, and believing, despite everything, that this year could be different, that this year could be better, that we have the power, through intention and action, to shape what comes next. And maybe, sometimes, that belief alone is enough to make it true. Happy New Year's, everyone! Thank you so much for watching. Hope you liked the video and subscribe for more.